We are Rogue Media Sports.
Manchester United, the football gods decided to shine on you. Finally, first W in a minute. And Dominik Szoboszlai, I just have to put my hands up. And so much more. This is Mind on Football Fans podcast. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mind on Football Fans podcast, your good home for all things Premier League football. As always, I'm your amazing host, David. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode. I want to first and foremost say I'm happy to be here, happy to be back. I know last week I was missing, was a little bit under the weather, but we're back, ready to go again. This is Matchweek 3. We're here to break down all the juicy details, all the highlights, all the drama from a juicy Matchweek 3. And people, I must say, there were a lot of headlines, so many storylines to break down. So we'll get right into it. But before we do that, obviously, you know where I have to start. I'll start by saying thank you to all our loyal and amazing subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing and tuning in every week to watch every episode we drop and just hear our analysis and breakdown. Thank you so much. We appreciate your kisses to you. And to those of you who haven't subscribed but are watching, hit that subscribe button down below. Just become a member, become a Mind on Football Fans member, Mind on Football Fans supporter, join the Mind on Football Fans family because we are open, we are ready to receive you all. So hit that subscribe button and then hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when we drop content for you all. Thank you so much. And don't forget, please, this is not the only place you can find us. This is Mind on Football Fans podcast on all podcast platforms. Check us out. If YouTube is not your vibe, that's okay. We're on other podcast platforms, so check us out there. And check out our socials, Mind on Football Fans podcast on all socials, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Check us out on there. That's where we drop short content and recaps of every episode. Thank you all so much. And for both our returning and soon-to-be subscribers, yes, I said it. Give us a thumbs up, please. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. So let's jump right into it. I hope you all enjoyed the watch along we're going to start with the big game of the match week 3. So much drama. So let's start with it, shall we? Liverpool 1, Arsenal 0. Liverpool, the defending champions, hosting 3-time runner-up. And I say that, and only I can say that because I'm an Arsenal fan. You all are not allowed to say that. Don't make a joke out of it. I can make a joke out of it because I'm an Arsenal fan. 3-time runners-up, Arsenal. Welcome to Anfield. Wow. There are a few things I'll talk about from this game, and I'll start with this. This game was a snooze fest. It was a snooze fest. Let's even forget the goal. Let's forget everything. This game was a snooze fest. And I can say that because I am an Arsenal fan and I am a football lover. So I can happily say that. But if you don't love football, you cannot call it a snooze fest. So this was a snooze fest. Why? Well, because simple. Both teams, nothing could separate them. Both teams were neck and neck together. Like they were like this, inseparable. Nothing could separate them. And that's just to show how little of margins separate these two teams. Pretty much, these are the two teams we'll be talking about title challengers for the next 6 to 7 months coming. And to be on one side, like I love it. I love because it shows that there's little difference, and these are the people challenging for the title. But on the other hand, I would love to see basketball style of game. Well, not really, but it would be nice to have seen both teams going at it, like take more risks, go at it. But that didn't happen. We were treated to a snooze fest, and I guess for Liverpool fans, they'll be okay with it. They finally kept a clean sheet. Good for them. As an Arsenal fan, it kind of really sucks. And I personally am not going to read too deep into it. Again, we're just 3 games in. There are still 35 more games to go, so we're not going to read too deep into it. The other thing I want to talk about is Liverpool. I'll talk about Liverpool for a minute, and especially Dominik Szoboszlai. The game was neck and neck, tied not 0-0 until Dominik Szoboszlai decided from 38 yards out, I'm going to put this at the top corner. And he did it. He just blasted it. Zubimendi gave a crazy ass free kick away, and Dominik Szoboszlai just blasted the top corner. Raya could do nothing about it inside of the goalpost in bam goal. And that was magical moments changed the game. Dominik Szoboszlai, shout out to Dominik Szoboszlai. He's the one I'll talk about because in the first half, when Arsenal pretty much dominated the game, Dominik Szoboszlai could not come into the midfield. Dominik Szoboszlai could not do anything. All he could do was just defend against Martinelli. And he did an amazing job against Martinelli. Martinelli looked lost. Martinelli offensively could not do nothing. Defensively, yeah, he had some pretty defensive moments. But offensively, because of Dominik Szoboszlai, he could not do nothing. But then because of Martinelli, also, Dominik Szoboszlai couldn't come into the midfield. And we all know how Dominik Szoboszlai loves being in midfield. That he's a creative player. That is what he does. He comes to midfield and he creates. But because of Martinelli, that could not happen. But in the second half, as the game started to open up precisely on the 60th minute, immediately Curtis Jones came into the game. Dominik Szoboszlai began going into the midfield, and Arsenal started losing the midfield battle from there. That is where everything fell through from Arsenal. Now, I'm not saying again that Arsenal played badly. I'm not saying that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying Arsenal started losing the midfield battle from there. And immediately Arsenal started losing the midfield battle, they kind of lost control of the game. Liverpool started to grow into the game, and that's how Liverpool was able to get the free kick they got for Dominik Szoboszlai from 38 yards out, just blasted to the top corner. Credit to Dominik Szoboszlai for that. So credit to them and a slot for making the changes to be able to allow Dominik Szoboszlai start going to the midfield. Because immediately that happened, all the balls were going just into the middle. Like you could just see balls going into the middle. In the first half, Liverpool couldn't do anything, and the balls were just, it was just side to side for Liverpool, side to side for Liverpool. And then Szoboszlai starts going into midfield, and then the ball is just going through the middle. And Arsenal pretty much held their own. Now switching over to the Arsenal side of it. Arsenal, most Arsenal fans would be like, Arsenal came to play cautious. Maybe that's what it is. But there's a reason why before this game, Arsenal were unbeaten against the Big Six. There's a reason why that is, and that's because they have a style of play, especially when they go away from home to play the Big Six. Pretty much defend and try to snatch a win. Now, you all might say Arsenal, like Arteta always does it. He's always cautious. He doesn't go to win the game. He literally went to win the game. Liverpool had no sleep for goal. Arsenal had the better chances up until that Dominik Szoboszlai game. If we compare this game last season to last season, Arsenal played so much better in this game. So I don't want to hear no Arsenal fans saying, oh, Arteta was cautious. No, Arteta was not cautious. It looked like he might have been cautious because he played, Moreno in midfield, or there wasn't great creative player. But Arsenal still had good chances to score. Arsenal had amazing chances to score. Remember when Matchweek and Cockers were battling out on the right-hand side? Cockers defended for his life. Cockers had his best defensive game in the Liverpool shirt. Again, because of how Liverpool defended. Liverpool had their best defensive game. It's not that Arsenal came and played cautiously. No. Liverpool just defensively decided to come out and play ball today. And credit to them. So it's not that Arteta decided to be cautious. No, Arteta went with a game plan. Hold them on. Then on the 60th, 70th minutes, bring on the creative guys, as you all might say. They are creative players. Odegaard, Eberechi, bring them on. And then go for it. And that's what he did. It just happened that before they came on, or a little bit after they came on, Dominik Szoboszlai just decided to put one in the top corner. It just happened like that. Else would have been talking of this game as a goalless draw, or even maybe Arsenal would have snatched a point, the 3 points from there. Who knows? But I don't want to hear no Arsenal fans saying, "Oh, Arteta played it." No. That's not it. Arteta did not play it cautious. He had a game plan, and it was to go and win. It just happened again that Dominik Szoboszlai produced a bit of magic. This game, and before the game started, in my mind, I'm like, if Arsenal, whoever wins this game, it's either because the other team made a mistake, or the other team was just produced a brilliant moment of magic. And it was the case. Liverpool just produced a brilliant moment of magic. Dominik Szoboszlai just produced a brilliant moment of magic. Arsenal didn't play bad. Arsenal actually played so much better compared to last season at Anfield. And we all know that Anfield is not a nice stomping ground for Arsenal. Arsenal haven't won at Anfield since 2012. since 2012. Am I right? Yeah, I believe since 20. No, don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. But I believe Arsenal haven't won a game at Anfield since 2012, which is crazy to think. Like it hasn't Anfield and Anfield and what was it Anfield and uh what am I blanking here? Anfield and Old Trafford. They haven't been a great stomping ground for Arsenal. Yes, Arsenal have won a Premier League game at Anfield since 2012. So compared to last season, where Arsenal even salvaged a draw, Arsenal got a draw. Remember last season at Anfield, first half Arsenal were down 2-0. It looked like everything was crumbling. And then second half, two moments of magic from Martinelli and Moreno, 2-2. And we ended up scavenging a draw from that game. So I don't want to hear nothing. It was a snooze fest, as I said earlier. It just happened that a moment of magic from Dominik Szoboszlai changed the game. Just changed the game. As I said, Liverpool was so much better defensively. As a team, let's not even talk about the back four. The back four, amazing, yes. But as a team, defensively, they were so much better. So much better compared to their 4-2 win against Bournemouth and then their 3-2 win at Newcastle. They were so much better defensively. And you have to give them credit for it. Some might say that champions find a way to win. I agree with you. They found a way to win, and just happened that it was a brilliant free kick from Dominik Szoboszlai. Now, am I going to read it too deep into this? No, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say, oh, Liverpool are going to run away. I still stand by my prediction. Arsenal will win the league. Um, some Arsenal players did not have their best of games, but that is a result of Liverpool just being defensively so much better. Shout out to Christian Mosquera. Christian Mosquera. Saliba going off injured 4 minutes into the game. As I said during the live stream, the watch along, he probably did not expect to play. Christian Mosquera did not expect to play, and he just came in and he did an amazing job. I think he was spectacular. He was amazing. He played some good football. He defended very well, and I'm happy for him. And he will be needed come games after the international break, depending on how long Saliba is out, he will be so much needed. And I'm happy for him. So shout out to him. Um, but again, some players did not have their best of games. I also liked how Madueke was direct again, but Kirkes was just good defensively. 2-3 opportunities where Madueke one-on-one with him, Kirkes just defended splendidly, defended splendidly. So that's that. Liverpool 1-3, sorry, played 3-1-3. Good for them. 9 points, good for them. Arsenal, first loss of the season, first goal conceded, first loss against the big six team in over 2 years. What I'm trying to go back. How long ago was the last time Arsenal lost to a big six team? Yes, it was against Manchester City. I remember the last loss to a big six team was against Manchester City 3 years ago. That was the first season we went for it. Remember, we came second. The loss at the Emirates to Manchester City. That was the last time Arsenal lost a big six game. 2022, no, 2023, 2024, right? 2022, 2023 season. That's the Haaland scored, Grealish scored, and I remember that game very well because I remember watching it. I was in school and I watched it. But yeah, that was the last time. So first loss for Arsenal. But it is what it is. We're not going to read too deep into it. Kudos to Liverpool. Great free kick from Dominik Szoboszlai. Again, you can't get mad at as an Arsenal fan, to be honest, you can't really get mad at it. Like it's one of just goals or one of those games where like you lost, but like you're like it is what it is. It's not like I'm trying to think. You all will try to compare to Manchester United v Arsenal 2 weeks ago. No, it's not that case. That was a goalkeeping error. That was different. This one was just a brilliant magic moment by Dominik Szoboszlai. So shout out to him. Moving on. Right into Manchester City 1. I'll tell you this, Fabian Hurtler hasn't lost a game against Pep Guardiola. He hasn't lost a game to Manchester City. That is mental. Last season, he got 4 points off Manchester City. 1-1. Again, exact same result where they were down 1-0 and then they came back and won 2-1. Manchester City back-to-back losses, kind of sad. 1 week, 2 weeks ago, we were like, oh my god, Manchester City are back. Manchester City are this, they are challenging for a title. We forgot them, we slept on them, whatever, blah blah blah. Again, I'm not going to overreact because of the back-to-back losses, but I'm going to just say what we said Matchweek 1 was an over-exaggeration. But we're not going to over-exaggerate and say they are not going to be up there. We're not going to do that. They are still going to challenge. Now, in terms of challenge, I don't know if they will be challenging for a title, but they will be challenging in the top 4 places. Like, you still definitely see them in top 4 places. Like, my prediction, I have them finishing 4th. They will definitely still be challenging for that. Now, challenging for the title, that might be of a stretch, except something changes. Rodri came out. Rodri started his first game for Manchester City. Kudos to them. Rodri came out and said they were making kids' mistakes, called them out on their mistakes. And likely so, their mistakes were just bizarre mistakes. The penalty, Nunes going like this, trying to block the ball, and then the second one just played through them, and it was just weird. But shout out to James Milner. James Milner being the second oldest player to score in the Premier League. Second oldest player behind, I don't even know. I don't know. I forget the name. Second oldest player, penalty. He hasn't scored since, I believe, December 2023, December 2024. By 2025, right? December 2023. I can't remember. But yeah, he hasn't scored since December of a year. So shout out to James Milner. Again, Fabio Hurtler. God, he looks like he just can't lose to Manchester City. That's just what it is. He can't just lose to Manchester City. So big result for them. Manchester City, again, we're not going to over exaggerate and say they are going to be challenging for a title, but also not going to exaggerate and say that they won't be challenging for the top 4. That's what we're going to do. We're going to leave it as that. Moving on. Oh, that came back. Manchester United 3, Burnley 2. Wow, what a week for Manchester United. Manchester United fans, I'm sure you all are over the moon and happy and whatever after an atrocious week. A week that started with dropping a goal to Fulham on Sunday? Was it Sunday? I believe it was Sunday. Drawing 1-1 to Fulham, where they did not even play really good. It wasn't like they played good and then they end up. No, they didn't play good. Bruno Fernandes missing his penalty. And then you go into midweek against Glimpsy. Is it Glimpsy? I believe that's the team. 4th tier division team. Glimpsy. 2-0 down at halftime. You do the job, come back 2-2, and then you lose on penalties. Then you have Ruben Amorim coming out and saying, sometimes I want to quit. Sometimes I want to be here for 20 years. Sometimes I feel like I want to quit. Sometimes I feel like I want to be here for 20 years. And then he was like, and then you have the Kobe Menu situation where he has asked to go out on loan and all that. And just a lot of things, external things outside. And then come Burnley, a must-win game. Now, don't get me wrong, Amorim's job wasn't on the line. It wasn't like Amorim was on the line or anything like that. No. It was just a must-win game for Manchester United, especially going into the international break. And the football god decided to shine on them. They are so lucky the football god had mercy on them because you drop Leeds twice in a game. The football gods will not be merciful on you. They will not be merciful on you. They just happened that they were merciful on you, and then Jade Anthony stupidly, and this you guys had luck. Manchester United had luck on their side, but Burnley were just stupid also. Jade Anthony conceding a late penalty, pulling back Amadia, like blatantly pulling his shirt down, his shirt down. That was just blatantly stupid from Jade Anthony. So they were lucky. Shout out to Brandon Bemo, scored midweek, scored again. He looks like he's gotten in there. Matheus Cunha went off injured. That's really sad. Again, a lot of hamstring injuries. A lot of hamstring injuries in this past week. Liam Delap, which we'll talk about in a minute. Saliba obviously wasn't hamstring. His was a twisted ankle. But then you have Cunha hamstring, Delap hamstring. I was watching the Aston Villa Crystal Palace game. Ismail Sarr holding on to his hamstring also. So just a lot of hamstring injuries in the past few weeks. I don't know what the cause is, but yeah. So that was bad to see. And then another thing that baffled me, Amorim not starting Sesko. He did not start Sesko. That baffled me a bit. When I saw the lineups and I saw Sesko on the bench, I was like, what's this dude doing? He started his match midweek and he didn't have the best of games midweek. Like, no, don't get me wrong. No United player had the best of games midweek. They were lucky that they came back 2-2, but no United player had the best game midweek. Um, so it was kind of shocking that I didn't see him start. Again, it looks like he's using the excuse of you know, allowing him adapt. That's all bullshit to me, really. But have him not starting again, and then United need a goalkeeper. Their goalkeeping issues. Burnley's first goal was a goalkeeping issue. I don't know. Right now reports have come out that Enzo Martinez is the one they are looking towards for. I think that would be a good deal if they can get it over the line before tomorrow's transfer deadline. That would be an amazing deal because he's way. But again, it's Manchester United. Manchester United kind of kills players. Before Nana came to Manchester United, he was a world class goalkeeper, challenging for the Aston Trophy. Hopefully, that will happen to Martinez if they are able to get that trade line. So United need at least two players, one midfielder and midfield player. I mean, holding midfielder, and they need a goalkeeper. So getting Martinez in, I think that would be really good if they can get again. I think they are trying to go for Believer from Brighton. If they can get that, that would be amazing. The Kobe Menu situation, I feel for him because other than yesterday, Kobe Menu had not touched the field. Other than yesterday, Kobe Menu had not touched the field. And he had Preston alone. But Amorim has been like, I want him to fight for his place. Fonzies. I still think it hasn't been fair to him, but it is what it is. But yeah, shout out to Manchester United. The football gods really shine their light on them. So lucky. Bruno Fernandes converting the penalty 90 plus 7 minutes. So yeah, good for them. First 3 points, first win of the season. Good for them. Moving on. Tottenham 0, Bournemouth 1. I'm not going to say too much on this because I'm not also going to read too much into this. Bournemouth just scored early and Tottenham couldn't keep up. Tottenham just did not look at it. Tottenham didn't look like the two Tottenham I've seen in the past 2 weeks. And I'm actually pissed at this because I decided to start Mickey van der Ven and Kudos. And I captain Kudos in my FPL. That's the reason why I'm mad at it. I'm mad at Spurs, really. It's because I started Mickey van der Ven in my FPL and Mohamed Kudos as my captain. Other than that, I have no business with Tottenham. I could give nothing out to it. But because of that, but that's another story. I digress. But yeah, Tottenham didn't just look on it, and Bournemouth just happened to score one goal, sit back down, and actually it should have been 2 goals because there was this ball by David Brooks outside of the foot um cross. Ooh, that was a wonderful cross. If I can get that clip, we'll have it on here. Outside of the foot cross, um, played it, and I think it was Evan Nielsen. Was it? I think it was Evan Nielsen that just missed it. Just missed it. But it is what it is. Tottenham on unbeaten streak came to an end. It's good. There are still 6 points in the bag. We're not going to read too much into it. It's just 3 games in. So credit to Bournemouth. Moving on. Chelsea 2, Fulham 1. Now I have 3 things I want to say on this game. 3 things. The first one being Fulham's goal. Fulham's goal that was disallowed. Now, do you know why we are referring to Fulham's goal? Because the PGMOL came out and admitted that they made a mistake. Now, for those of you who didn't watch the game, Rodrigo Muniz had done a skill move, what we call I forget what's the name of the skill. Where you put one feet down and turn with the ball, your feet lands, your second feet lands. I forget what the name of the skill is, but he does a skill move. It just happens that as he puts his second leg down, it stomps on Trevor Chalobah's leg. That is not a foul. That is a play on the ball because he is on the ball. He's a play on the ball, and Josh King. Is it Josh King? I forget what his name is. Why am I blanking on this? Blanking on this. Yes, King. That's who he is. Josh King. Josh King is then played through on goal by Sunderberg. Played through on goal by Sunderberg, and Fulham looked to have taken the lead. The referee, Robert Jones, gives it as a goal. But then VAR interferes, and I forget who was on VAR. Um, VAR, Michael Slusbury was on VAR, and he calls Robert Jones to do and kind of interferes with it. The referee on the field has given a decision. Go. VAR calls him and interferes. That was bad. And PGML admitted today that they had made a mistake. That should have been a goal because that was not a foul. That was a play on the ball by Rodrigo Muniz. The second thing I want to say is now, if that goal had stood, would Chelsea have won 2-0? Maybe not. No, definitely not. Chelsea would not have won 2-0. Would Chelsea have won the game? Maybe 2-1, 3-1. I don't know for certain. But I know that if Fulham had scored, the game would have been completely different. Because immediately that happened, 8 minutes of added time was added, obviously because of Liam Delap's injury and a few other things, and VAR review here and there. There are two VAR review incidents in the first half, the goal, and then I think a potential penalty. There were 8 minutes of added time added on. Chelsea scored on the 9th minute. That doesn't even make sense. So what I'm saying, this is why I'm driving. Let me get to my point. If Fulham, if that goal had counted, would the game have been different? Yes. Would Chelsea have been able to score on the 45 plus 9 minutes? I don't think so, because I don't think the game would have gone to that point. Now, would Chelsea have won the game? Maybe. Would Fulham have won the game? Maybe. Only God knows. But I know that a few things are for certain. The game would have been completely different if that goal was given. That added time allowing Chelsea to score 45 plus 9 would not have happened. The second thing I'll talk about is the third thing I'll talk about is Liam Delap's injury. Because Liam Delap's injury meant that Chelsea, who had agreed on a loan deal for Nicholas Jackson to Burnley, decided to recall him back because of the injury. Again, we wish Liam Delap speedy recovery. He looked like he had gotten into the team and enjoying some good football. But now with his injury, Chelsea need a new striker. Let me track back a bit. Chelsea had announced Alejandro Garnacho from Manchester United before the game started. You know how they show player. Again, let me also backtrack again. Going back to the Tottenham situation. Tottenham signed Xavi Simons from RB Leipzig, unveiled him to the crowd. Chelsea did the same thing. Alejandro Garnacho, relationship done with Manchester United, moved to Chelsea. Chelsea now have another winger. Kudos to them. So Chelsea agreed a loan deal with Bayern Munich for Nicholas Jackson. And because of the injury now, Chelsea are recalling back Nicholas Jackson. And Jackson doesn't want to come back. He doesn't want to go back to Chelsea. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, that's the other thing I'll talk about. Again, few hamstring injuries just around the league. Kind of sad. Last season it was ACL around the footballing world. Now it's hamstrings. It's kind of weird. But yeah, credit to Chelsea. Chelsea now sits second on the table with 7 points, still undefeated this season. Kudos to them. Moving on. Aston Villa 0, Crystal Palace 3. Crystal Palace played an amazing football game. Crystal Palace were amazing in this game. And it was so fun to watch. McGahey scoring the second goal. Now, I bring this game up for two reasons. The first one being McGahey. McGahey potentially was his last game for Crystal Palace. He's on the verge, according to reports, being bought by Liverpool. Liverpool need defensive reinforcements, as I said earlier in the live stream watch along. Liverpool need defensive reinforcements, and they have targeted McGahey. And I feel McGahey, this is a proper move for him. This is the right time for him to move to Liverpool. It would be a good move for him. But if this is his last game, if everything goes through, this is the last game. What a way to cap it off. Clean sheets, goal, win 3 points. Amazing, amazing. The second thing I want to talk about from this game is Aston Villa. Aston Villa are yet to score in the Premier League this season. They are yet to score in the Premier League this season. I don't know what is wrong with Aston Villa. It's kind of sad to see because they are one of the better teams that are not in the top six. When you look at the second tier teams in the Premier League, they are in there. And so far this season, they are yet to score a goal. Excuse me. They are yet to score a goal. It's kind of sad. Emery has said he needs reinforcement, and they need to supply with reinforcement. I look at the squad, and in this game, I looked at their squad. I looked at the bench, and it's so thin. Other than Emily Bundea, and maybe a handful of defenders, really defenders, they really didn't have anyone who could change the game. Really, and it just looks like they need to freshen up things a bit, and hopefully they can get that done. But yeah, big result for Crystal Palace. Amazing again, qualified for the Conference League. Sad about that, but they are still playing in Europe, so good for them. Oliver Glasner has those boys playing football, has them playing football. Kudos to them. Moving on, Wolves 2, Everton 3. I'll say two things from this game. Jack Grealish, 2 games, 4 assists. 2 games, 4 assists. Jack Grealish is averaging 2 games and assists. Literally, he's literally 2 games in 2 assists in his last 4 games, 2 assists each in his last 2 games. Jack Grealish has found his form. I saw a stat where this is the first time Jack Grealish has started back-to-back games for a team since 2024, February, March 2024, I believe. Yeah, first time this has happened, and I'm like, wow. Wow. So I'm so happy for Jack Grealish. He's found his form. And again, that front four of Beto, Jack Grealish, Dewsbury Hall, and Iliman Njai. Jack Grealish on the left, Iliman Njai on the right, and then Dewsbury Hall through the middle, and then Beto as the striker. I love that. I love that for Everton. Everton back-to-back wins for them. I love it for Everton. I don't. There's just some teams that you watch in Premier League that you're like, I just want to see them succeed. Wolves, sad for them. They haven't had a win. They have just been close, just not doing enough. Just not doing enough for Wolves. So yeah, that's the second thing I would say. Strand Larsen out injured. Again, reports that Wolves have denied him, or Wolves have rejected the offer from Newcastle for Strand Larsen, but it is what it is. So yeah, moving on. Sunderland 2, Brentford 1. Brentford have a lot of a few things going on, mainly Johan Wissa. Johan Wissa has come out and has said he discussed it because kind of similar to the Alexander Isak Newcastle situation. He wants to go to Newcastle. He wants to go play Champions League football with Newcastle, and I think that's fair. He deserves it. Especially if he has agreed with club that if a fee comes in for me, please sell me. Like if you have agreed with club, like I think that's valid. So Brentford got their first win last week. Keith Andrews was no longer in the hot seat. But then they were 1-0 up and then they conceded 2 goals to Sunderland. Sunderland 2 wins out of 3, 6 points. I mean, that's all you want from your promoted teams. You want them to compete. Burnley competed. Leeds, we'll talk about Leeds in a minute. Other than lost last week, they have competed also, and Sunderland competed. So I think just like the top of the table will be a tight race, the bottom of the table will also be a tight race. My predictions for relegation might definitely be wrong, and I'll accept it. I'll accept it. It is what it is. So yeah, credit to Sunderland coming back 2 goals down at the stadium of 1 goal down at the stadium of Light to win 2-1. Moving on. Forest nil, West Ham 3. West Ham finally getting their win. Shout out to West Ham. Let's go. Graham Potter. I like Graham Potter. I think he gets unnecessary sticks sometimes, but it is what it is. That's the life of a Premier League manager. Shout out to West Ham. The game was tied 0-0, 83rd minute. Before that, Somerville comes on, come back from injury, comes on, and he changes the game. Pretty much changes the game for West Ham. Comes on, assists Jared Bowen on the first goal, and then wins the penalty for Paqueta to score, and then Defoe with a good cross, Wilson headed it. It could have been 4. Jared Bowen had an amazing solo run, and then Callum Wilson just kind of touched it. deny him a proper goal. Oh my god, he's also in my FPL. Jared Boy is in my FPL, so that's why I was happy for him. I'm happy for West Ham also. Good result. Now on the Forest side of things, I think this international break, I believe I heard that um what's his name? The Forest owner will have a sit down with Nuno Espirito Santos to discuss a few things because, as you all know, there has been an ongoing saga in Forest, especially after Nuno Espirito Santos came out and said he needs signings, he needs to be backed, especially the fact that they are playing in Europe this season. And that did sit well with the owner. I forget what his name is. So it's good for West Ham. Forest will see if Nuno Espirito Santos is there by the end by come next game week. We'll see. This international break will be a big one. Last but not least, I said Leeds. Last but not least, Leeds United nil, Newcastle nil. Again, Newcastle a lot of again with the Isak situation. They just signed a striker, I believe, from I forget where he uh where he was signed from or what his name is. Um, what am I blanking on this? Uh, Nick Nick Waltimade. That's his name. Waltimade, and I'm probably botching his name right now. Nick Waltimade. From he's a German striker from Stuttgart. Stuttgart, 65 million pounds from Stuttgart. So Newcastle just signed him. They have set the price. I believe reports came out today that Newcastle have set the price for Alexander Isak at 150 million pounds. That's mental. And I mean, Liverpool can probably go for it. Liverpool might go for it. We'll see. I personally don't think, in my opinion, I don't think they should. But I mean, it is what it is. 150 million pounds. If they do sell him 150 million pounds, because I do think he needs to be so. I think a solution needs to be found. That situation and then the Wissa situation, um, that also needs to be settled because I think it's a domino effect. If Liverpool sign Isak, Newcastle can then put in a higher bid that Brentford cannot reject for Yohan Wissa. And I think Yohan Wissa wants to play. He desperately wants to play, and Brentford are not allowing that. So, yeah, that's the only thing I'll say from this game. Um, Fair result for both teams. It is what it is. Moving on. So, but yeah, that brings us to the end of our match week 3 recap, breakdown, and analysis. So much happened this week, so many storylines. We'll see what happens. The transfer deadline is tomorrow, September 1st. By the time this episode drops, the transfer window will be shut. Um, so we'll see. We'll see come after the international break if there have been any moves. If any team has paid the 150 million pounds for Alexander Isak, and if Isak goes to Newcastle, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see definitely. But yeah, international break. We won't be back for the next 2 weeks. I believe the next 2 weeks is we'll be back on the 14th, 13th of September. 13th of September. We'll be back on the 13th of September after the international break. I hope you all have a lovely break. Again, don't forget, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. To our loyal subscribers, thank you so much for following us all through the way. Thank you. We appreciate your kisses to your don't forget, this is not the only place you can find us. Listen to Mind of Football Fans podcast on all podcast platforms, and check out our socials, Mind of Football Fans on YouTube and on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you all so much. We love you all. Thank you. I hope you all have an amazing week. This has been Matchweek 3 recap, analysis, and breakdown in which Liverpool ended up victorious against Arsenal, title challengers Arsenal, 3-time runners-up. Again, only I can say it. So in a match week where Manchester United secured a much needed victory, City and Tottenham falling respectively to Brighton and Bournemouth. And again, I hope you all have an amazing week. As always, I'm David. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have an amazing week. I'm out. Peace.
We are Rogue Media Sports.